Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. The consent agenda is as read. A. Approve the minutes of the following City Council work session, August 16, 2022. City Council regular meeting, August 16th. City Council work session, September 6th. City Council regular meeting, September 6th, 2022. Planning Commission meeting, August 8th. B. Schedule a truth and taxation public hearing for Tuesday, September 6th, 2022 at 6.
Failing us a little bit. Hopefully they're not working, so we'll just have to move on. Everybody can hear it, and we'll continue to try to get fixed. We at least. That being said, we'll move forward to the agenda item. Department. Adding recent. Initially approved at August 6th. Pump. Well, once between the dug into the pump, they found additional call for another $5,000 worth overall. Us to completely replace the pump. Fire chief forward with the project. And the cost was recognizing that items for repairs fell over budget, funded, unbalanced. And we need it. Right now it is always. Oh, I think
Any other questions? Second. Any opposed? Motion in favor. Next item on the list, Winston Police Department. Vehicle purchase, 2022-2023, Ford Intercept. Ford utility vehicle, SUV.
Speaking of supply chain disruptions and how it's impacted, we were recently notified Ford or
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. On September 8th, earlier this year, I want to say it was probably April, the city council authorized the purchase of a 2022 Ford Interceptor SUV squad car to replace the 2016 Squad, which is the one I currently use. That order was placed, purchase order signed by Adam, with the documents that you had reviewed and approved. We were notified on September 8th, we being I, from our contact person at 1044, that our squad, or there was 160 Ford squad cars canceled. Ours was one of those. There were cancellations throughout the last year or so, I would say, in the state of those. Now ours wasn't. Furthermore, in that email, he notified us that we, number one, would not be getting our squad car. Number two, if we would like to insure a 2023 Ford Interceptor, we would have to approve the purchase by the following day, end of the day, the following day. So, City Administrator Berkowitz and myself decided we would request that they place an order for us. Proof of us moving forward with that. Furthermore, we did talk about possibly changing a brand, to a Dodge or a Chevy due to the situation this has put us and other departments in, and the order deadline for the 2022 models of the Chevy and the Dodge. I think there's a lot of reasons / excuses that they'll give us regarding that. But it comes down to supply chain. There's computer chip issues, larger issue with vehicles in total. I think their priority is law enforcement vehicles. Very good question. So the city council back, I believe, again, I think it was April of this year, authorized the squad purchase. So that's just the squad car. A little over $36,000. The exact same features, nothing added to that. Same spec sheet was completed for this 2023 model. It is now up to just under $43,000. So approximately $8,000 increase just on the base model. I did reach out to Market Cars on Patrol and Hutch, so he orders all of the equipment we put in the squad. He said he believes it will all. The 23 dimensions of that squad are very similar to. Believes that should all work. There is a little bit of unknown there, and I put that in the memo. As of now, we don't foresee any increases, but and me to guess would just not. With that said, I believe there's 106,000 miles on the 516 squad car now. So I have an appointment for that squad weeks with our vendor in town just to go through it all. We do take very good care of our cars and pick them up. We're keeping it longer than we anticipated, so we just want to make our options are very.
Hours. Just not telling us that we won't be able to get a squad car. Or with knowing that we can get out of. That being said, we're looking for perspective. Us look into options if it's brands. Well, with any other discussion.
Make a motion. Very.
We say you can have a card.
Very true. Next item, consider a motion to adopt resolution number 2-30, certifying the preliminary 2023 general $1,310,700 debt service levy of $150. Total primary tax levy of $1,768,000.
Again, everybody, it's that time of year where we need to establish our preliminary levy for 2023. When we do that, we go through a quick slideshow, kind of reviewing with the residents how we got to the levy process, talk about some budget for 2023, talk about our 5-year budget model and how we project out, because we strive to not only look at what our decisions, how they affect 2023, but also how they affect levy over a 5-year period. Look at some of our history of our levy. We're going through our discussion, use some general terms regarding revenue and expenditures. Revenues being funds received to the city, taxes, fees, charges for services, permits, other sources. Expenditures are the funds spent towards the operation of city government, services, improvements, salaries, utilities, or other activities. The general levy ultimately is our operational levy. That's the property taxes funds needed to fund the expenditures. Includes the city council, police and fire departments, parks, libraries, building inspections, legal and engineering. That levy is the property tax dollars needed to service city debt. Project that we're doing that will be added to our debt levy and the financing of that. Currently doesn't run. Levy, operating dollars, capital dollars, debt levy, service, financing, large Our process started way back in July when city staff prepared proposed budgets or proposed line items based on their needs, recommendations. To go through those recommendations, budget that the staff provided. Just reviewed our proposed capital expenditures, the expenditures over a 5-year period. On September 14th, it's highlighted because we had an extra work session to look at the overall budget and levy impacts with updated net tax capacity information that we had received. We are tasked with establishing our preliminary levy. Once our preliminary levy is established this evening, we can decrease it by the end of the year, but we can no longer increase it. Over the next few months, throughout October, November, we will discuss our preliminary levy and look at ways to adjust that levy if needed. We are scheduled to have a day-long work session, and that's not indicated on your act. Right now, it's scheduled for November 2nd versus October 20th. That day-long work session with the city council is scheduled for the 2nd. Ultimately, the final levy and operator in this preliminary levy, we have some assumptions built into it, including the implementation of the compensation plan as approved in 2022, looking at an overall 5% increase to employee benefits, health, dental insurance, etc. Reallocation of current resources based on needs and actuals that are operating budgets. And if there's areas we can reduce some operating costs, we do so. If there's areas we need to increase due to inflation. Right now, the preliminary budget does continue to complement current full-time equivalent of staff, not looking at staff reductions. Additional assumptions is we are reducing our funding strategy or the funds toward but we have reallocated park capital improvement funding. We are continuing with Economic Development Authority funding. Again, we are still not reducing our taxes received due to tax abatements, economic development projects in this slide. I know it's pretty small, but looking at our overall budget, we typically talk about where our increases or decreases are. This year, we focused a little bit on what the impacts were due to inflation, since it's so high. We are looking anywhere 100% on some items. Overall, if you look at the line items, they're somewhat everyday household gas and oil. Our overall cost due to inflation right now is that's strictly related to insurance, property, really things that into the specifically within the fire department always right now when we first started our budget process, this working very hard to limit any levy increase carry that over throughout our fire department, working with board. Proposed increase $3 per unit, ultimately result in an additional $2,997 expenditures for the instead increase 9. Proposed the 2023 fire department operations budget, and the city will be a long time. While their political subdivision provides more than 15%. That stayed pretty consistent this year. Had been realizing about a $4 per unit increase. Looking at our overall proposed revenues for 2023. 2023, as it is, typically the bulk of our revenue comes through property tax. The other large revenue source is through the state of Minnesota, through grant and aids, etc. 3% of our proposed revenues, and then we have small revenues realized. Overall, for our general fund revenue as proposed here in revenue of about expenditures, even bulk of our government works. Protection 7%. Rest of our expenditures. Missed our approximately looking at our 5-year budget model. We always work assumptions. Now these aren't, it's just how we project our budget forward. We project 1% revenue. We typically plan for 2% increase. Just a general 5% increase in the 5% increases to overall employee wages, 9% benefits. Get to the overall budgeting process for upcoming years, then those get using those assumptions, looking at our projections with the proposed increase to this year, we'll have us approximately $682 with that budget. And in 2024, we'll have a deficit of about $6,800, deficit $700 in 2025, deficit spending at $8,500. Essentially, it's structurally balanced. That's very small variance, and that can be adjusted. If our levy was significantly less than what's being proposed this evening, you'll see deficit level spending closer to $50,000 to $5,000. Again, as we've discussed numerous times throughout this process, overall property tax levy is comprised of two parts. The general levy, or again, that's our operations, debt levy projects. Once we establish this preliminary levy amount of this year, it can be lowered, but it cannot. Winston and this city council has history of coming in more detail and more information. Remember, lower that levy accordingly. Market values do continue to increase throughout Minnesota. In fact, we've seen an increase in our market values approximately 27% Winstead in 2022, so that is significant. Traded market yes, and again, provided to us. In Minnesota, in 2022, overall tax levies increased 5.9. Past 3 years, the average increase for city levies in Minnesota was 8%. Upward continue, especially with changing gears a little bit to our debt service levy specifically. We added or we committed ourselves to additional debt levy in 2023 with that mill and overlay. That will commit us to an additional $1,000 of the biggest increase. In previous years debt service levy. Fortunately, we are going to utility funds. We'll see some significant reductions costs. Looking at our proposed levy for 20, I already stated that our expenditures were going up by about $87,000. Revenue proposed to go up about both expense revenues general levy right now would go up by 6.6%. Debt levy by 8% increase of debt levy. Overall property tax moving forward over the next 3 years, and if we approve a 10.99%, we would be looking at a 3.80 in 2024, a 5.31 in 2025 overall property tax levy. Reason for the larger increase in 2025, potential debt levy the general levy would be $1,000. Debt levy Overall property, 1 million. Levy should afford us maximum flexibility. Amount. Understanding that property owners here in Winsted, when they receive their tax estimate, will reflect not our final increase, but it can point. I will take any questions you may have, and once those are
Questions, ladies and gentlemen? Look for a motion. A motion, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And thank you very much. Next item on our sheet is organizational report. Don't forget, the mic is not working.
I'll speak up. Mr. Mayor and council members, thank you for having me. I'm Julie Gugamus. I'm representing the Winsted Arts Council this evening. The Arts Council fills a vital role, I believe, in the community of Winsted, providing arts and culture opportunities for the members of the community and the surrounding area. Some of the highlights of the past year, we had a classic ballet that was conducted. That was a lot of fun and the kids really enjoyed it. COVID and the resurgence of COVID interrupted those classes, unfortunately. When they were going, they were awesome. We also had some really fun summer art opportunities with Emily Lynch Victory. She is a Watertown who is well known to the Winsted area. She taught acrylic, and she went from the basics through some of the highlights for me. I really like music performances, and we had doozies this year. We had a band they're originally from Ireland, but they added a couple of members from Scotland, Big Jam, and they play bluegrass music with Celtic. And they tore up the Blue Note in March. They had an afternoon program for school, and then they had an evening program for the community at large. That was and along, and we had an Irish dance group from the Twin Cities come out and dance to a couple of the songs, and that really added a fun element to the evening. The afternoon shows with the school kids, they started off teaching the school kids a couple of drinking songs, so I'm sure the kids went home and said, guess what we learned today? But it was very fun, and they were great to have. And then this summer, we had music in the park, and that was supported by the Friends of Irene Weinbeck. When she passed away, she asked that memorials come to the Winsted. So the Friends of Irene Weinbeck, along with ATHC, Diesel Conversion Specialists, Away, Legion, Martin Kruger Post, and then Security Bank and Trust, also music in the park. And we had 4 consecutive Thursdays in the park where we had music, polka music, hot club jazz, and then finished it off really great country band. And that also was well attended. The Winstead Lions came out when they could to support us with a great way for people to come together and enjoy different varieties of music in the park. It was free, real community building experience. We knew that. In the fall, hoping to get more youth involved, so we have a couple of things in the works. Planning. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for information about that. We will be again doing an artisan market during Winstead Winter Festival. And we're always looking for volunteers, ideas. Anybody wants to get involved, we certainly appreciate and welcome your input.
That my wife and I were able to do the music part.
Be fun.
I thought for a moment we were going to put the music in the grass.
Yeah.
There were so many people out there dancing, but thank you so much for all of your hard work. Really good summer, really was.
Well, it's way more fun too when people participate. So thank you so much for listening, and don't be shy. Get out on the dance floor. Right now, myself, Mike Cummings, Jane Otto, Jim Fowler, Ralph Millerburn, Mary Wee Miller, Tom Specken, Muellners, and then we have a new board member, Elizabeth Dean, and we always welcome more input. So if someone is interested in attending a meeting, right now we're meeting the fourth Tuesday month. And if you don't like meetings, but you just want to give ideas, an email or a message. You are afraid that we're going to put you to work too much. We won't. We'd be happy to have whatever help we can.
Hi, Julie.
7 p.m. Well, thank you for your support. And I'll be interested to look
Good job.
at.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
We've come to the open forum portion, and I don't see anybody out there that's going to jump up to that microphone. On to Adam.
Sure, just meeting scheduled for this Thursday. Likely be meeting in October as we look. As well as the same project. Coming up in the future regarding financial development.
Anything else? Motion. And a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.